ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनच्छलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेशा गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमद् नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे कम करोतु वाचालं ते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्री गुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम्। ओम तत्सत्। Hare Krishna. Thank you all for joining the class. So we have come through 10 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. And at the end of the 10th chapter, actually, the Lord has more or less completed the description of himself and his glories. So the Lord has already described his various aspects, described about bhakti, helped Arjuna to understand how Arjuna can remember him in this material world through his various opulences. And by the end of the 10th chapter, Arjuna is very, very excited. He's very happy, he's very satisfied. And he has one curiosity now which he wants to address. And that curiosity is that Krishna has described that it is he in his Vishwaroop form who is actually behind the material manifestation. He described in the 9th chapter and even in the 8th chapter very briefly as Adi Bhutam, Adi Daivam. So he has already described that he is behind everything. So Arjuna is now very curious to have a glimpse of the form of the Lord by which he permeates this whole existence. So first of all, when Arjuna starts this chapter, let me just quickly share the screen. When Arjuna starts this chapter, he actually tells the Lord that, oh Lord, I am actually fully enlightened. All my illusions with respect to you and your personality are now dispelled. So I'm just requesting one thing. I know you are seated in front of me in my chariot, but you already described that even though you are here, you are also pervading the whole universe. You are not limited. Your personality is not limited. You are present in your abode also. You are present within this universal manifestation. So I request you, my Lord, that you please display that form. You said in the 10th chapter, with a single fragment of myself, ekam shena stito jagat, with a single fragment of myself, I am pervading this entire universe. So I want to see that opulence. I want to see that special form of yours by which you are pervading this huge, gigantic manifestation. So can you please reveal that form of yours to me? Lord Krishna is known to be very, very affectionate to his devotees. The Lord has already described that he's always willing to help his devotees in whatever way. He is always eager to dispel the ignorance of his devotees, and is always willing to give special favors to his devotees, such favors which have never been given to anybody else. And the Lord enjoys doing this. Just like for the parents, the child who's very obedient and who is always obedient to the parents and loves them and serves them nicely, whenever the child asks something from the parents are very happy to actually fulfill it. In fact, the parents want that the child should ask them for something so that that reciprocation of love can be enjoyed. So the Lord is very happy when Arjuna makes this very special request to see that special form. And the Lord says, actually, Arjuna, I'm glad to show you this form, but you will not be able to see that form with these material eyes. And that is why I will grant you that special divine vision by which you can see this Vishwarupa form of mine. And then, even while the Lord was seated on his chariot, and there was this whole scene of this battlefield in front of Arjun, the Lord said to Arjun, "Oh Arjun, behold this Vishwarupa form." And suddenly, the Lord manifested in front of Arjuna a huge, gigantic form. How huge? Arjuna actually says it was practically unlimited, spreading in all directions, huge, 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 full of splendors, displaying all the opulences of the Lord within the universe, like what the Lord had described earlier. And then beautiful descriptions of that form is given. Of course, we can only try to imagine that form based on the few descriptions that are given, but it's very, very hard to conceive that form because it is so far out that practically everything within the universe was visible in that form in one place to Arjuna at that time. It was so amazing. So within that huge Vishwarup form, Arjuna saw thousands and thousands of divine forms. He saw all the various devatas within that form, the various Adityas, the 11 Rudras, the various devatas, the sages, the Gandharvas, Kinnaras, all the various species, all situated within this universal form. All the planets were also situated within this universal form. The various lokas, he could see Brahma, he could see Shiva, he could see all these other devatas. So if you remember, the Lord had already described earlier that all these devatas are his vibhutis. They are personalities who have been empowered with the Lord's power so that they can rule the world. And the Vishwarupa form of the Lord is the Adidev. He is the form in this universe which is considered as the origin for the devatas. So he's also known as Deva Deva, the God of the gods. So within that universal form, all these various devatas could be seen. All the various lokas could be seen. Things which nobody has seen earlier. This is what the Lord tells Arjuna. See things in this form which nobody has seen. Because there are certain parts of the universe which nobody has seen. Within this form, this divine form, Arjuna could see time, Kal. He could see past, present, and future. He could see all that has happened in the past and all that is going to happen in the future. And we'll come to this point a little bit later, because what he sees in terms of the future is described a little later in this chapter. So, a very important thing is, when we talk about Vishwarupa, which is a form which is permeating this material world, the key aspect of the Lord, as far as the material manifestation is concerned, is his energy of time. And we will discuss shortly about this energy of time. But just keep this in mind, that within this form existed past, present, and future. This form had unlimited faces, mouths, arms, bellies, legs. These beautiful, beautiful forms were radiant and decorated with beautiful helmets, beautiful garlands. They were shining. They were shining and effulgent. The whole form of Vishwarupa was so effulgent that it seemed as if 1,000 suns had arisen at once. So actually Arjuna in one sense was struggling to see that form, because it was so glaring and so effulgent. He was struggling to see because it was so full of light, as if there were 1,000 suns. Krishna told Arjuna, Arjuna, anything and everything that you want to see, you can see in this one place. I have made this available to you. Just like in Google, anything we want to access, we just type in. So anything Arjuna wanted to see, within this Vishwaroop, everything could be seen, because all material phenomena, all dimensions of time, all the energies of the Lord which are manifested, all the principles which govern this material manifestation, everything rests within this Vishwarupa form of the Lord, the Adi Deva. Arjuna could see Devatas reciting Vedic hymns in glorification of the Lord as they were coming towards him. But even as the Lord was observing this, he could see that even the Devatas and all the planetary systems are actually disturbed and perplexed, because nobody is able to fully understand and fathom this splendorous manifestation of the Lord. And then Arjuna saw something very amazing. He could see, like the Lord said, you can also see the future. He could see all the Kaurava warriors running fast and rushing into the mouths, the various mouths of this Vishwarupa. And as they were rushing into the various mouths, the mouths were closing, and with their teeth, they were crushing and killing the various Kaurava warriors. So just like rivers flowing into the sea, or like moths which run into the fire and die, similarly, Arjuna could see that all these personalities were actually rushing into the mouth of the Vishwarupa. When he sees this, practically a very ghastly scene, actually Arjuna became very disturbed. Actually, this whole experience of Arjuna seeing this Vishwarupa, rather than being a very pleasant, it was not like a movie that you sit down and say, wow, this is such a nice movie to see. No, it was actually quite scary for Arjuna. He became disturbed and he asked the Lord, oh Lord, what is this that I am seeing? Please tell me, what is your mission? What is it that you are doing? And the Lord very gravely tells Arjuna, oh Arjun, in this form of Vishwarupa, I am Kal, personified. I am time. The energy of time is my essential energy which works in this material world. Kalos me, I am that time. And through the agency of time, everything works in this material world. What does time mean? Time is the energy of the Lord which brings about change. If you remember, we discussed everything that is spiritual, Krishna explained in the second chapter, is avyaya. Avyaya means it never undergoes any change. Please do not unmute yourself, Yashwasin. Okay, so uh, time energy of the Lord is very, very powerful because it is through the time energy that everything in this world undergoes change. Birth, growth, maintenance, reproduction, dwindling, death. These six transformations are transformations which happen under the influence of time. Change is the characteristics of time, and that is why everything in the material world undergoes change. We ourselves, what we were yesterday exactly at this time when we were discussing 10th chapter and what we are now at this point is actually different. We may think we are exactly same, but our body has undergone changes. The body is changing every micro nanosecond in small imperceptible ways by the force of time. We may not be able to perceive it, but the change is slowly and surely happening. Eventually, time destroys everything. Everything material. But as far as the spiritual existence is concerned, as far as the soul is concerned, time is not able to affect the soul. That is why the Lord says, time exists in terms of a destructive potency only in the material realm. Time doesn't affect either the soul or the Supreme Lord. So the Lord says, I am this time energy. See, O Arjun, what is happening to all these warriors who have gathered here on the battlefield? All these warriors will surely die. I'm already showing you that. It is guaranteed that they will die. So get up and fight. It is already my plan. And you can see it in this Vishwarupa that is my plan. That all of these are going to be destroyed because of their sinful tendency and their offenses. So I want you to take credit. I want you to fight and then rule over this kingdom and enjoy this beautiful opulent kingdom. Actually, Arjuna, they are sure to die. Do not think that I am dependent on you to kill all these Kauravas. By my desire, everything will happen. I just want you to get the credit of executing my will, which I am going to execute through the energy of time. So you become my instrument, O Arjun. I want you to become the instrument. But if you do not become the instrument, it is not that my desire will get stopped. Nothing can go against my plans. So the Kauravas have been decided to be destroyed and they will be. So my request to you is, you become the instrument. You take the credit because their destruction is guaranteed. So it's a very, very beautiful verse. Sorry. Yeah. So Arjun, when he hears this and he sees all this is happening, he actually becomes even more disturbed. he becomes scared and starts trembling as he saw this. And as he's doing this, he starts glorifying the Lord. And he says, "Oh Lord, I am seeing all these great sages are offering their obeisances to you. The demons are fleeing away from you. I can clearly see that you are the source of the devatas. I can see how you are energizing this whole universe and you are its shelter. At the same time, I can see you are actually beyond this universe and you are endless. Oh Lord, you are so great. You are so great. You are amazing. I offer my obeisances to you again and again and again, from the front, from the back, from the side." So he gets very excited and overwhelmed, and he repeatedly starts offering obeisances to the Lord. And then Arjuna remembers. What does he remember? He remembers that all this while he was treating Krishna as his friend and cousin. And now that he understands the extraordinary glory of the Lord, he realized, "Oh Lord, what I have done. I have actually offended you so many times. So many times I have treated you in jest. I have joked with you sometimes. Sometimes I have made uh, uh, in friendly talk, some casual remarks about you. Sometimes as friends we have been eating together. Sometimes we have been, lying down on the same bed. I don't know what all I have said to you as a friend. I may have insulted you unknowingly. So please, I beg of you, now that I understand who you actually are, please forgive me for any mistakes that I may have committed. Just like a father forgives a son, or a friend forgives another friend, please, I request you, O Krishna, I didn't fully understand your glory. Even though you have earlier described that you are God, it is so hard for me to fathom what your glory is. How, when you say and show me this Vishwaroop, it is so mind boggling. It is such a powerful, majestic display. I cannot even fathom. I'm trembling. And you are saying, Krishna, this Vishwaroop is just a tiny spark of your glory. You are really unlimited. Nobody can understand you. Neither the Devatas nor the great sages are able to understand. So, O Lord, while in one sense I'm happy to see this form and thank you for showing this kind grace to me, my mind is also becoming very disturbed by this ghastliness, which is the very nature of this material existence. Because material nature means time, time means destruction. So ghastliness is an ever present factor. Death, change is an ever present factor in this material world. So I think I have had enough, O Lord. Can you please withdraw this form? Like a horror movie, after some time you think, okay, it's enough. I saw whatever I had to see. Now can you please show to me, O Lord, your spiritual form? Especially that form which is very famous, the form with your four hands, carrying a conch, a mace, chakra, and lotus flower. Please show me that four-armed Narayan form so that my mind can become peaceful. So Krishna became very happy. He wound up this huge, unending, vast form of Vishwarupa. And then he displayed to Arjuna this very, very beautiful form, the four-armed Narayan form, so many yogis are always meditating on. Then, after having done that, Krishna changed his form from the four-armed form back to his two-armed form as Krishna. And then Krishna says something very special. He says to Arjun, "Oh Arjun, let me tell you something very special. People often tend to think that this Vishwaroop form of mine is actually the greatest and the most desirable one to see. But the most desirable form to see is actually this two-armed form of mine. Even the Devatas are very, very eager to see this two-armed form of mine. Even when the Lord appeared in this world, even when he was in the womb of Mother Devaki in the prison of Kamsa, the Devatas would come down to the earth to actually pray to the Lord. When the Lord was born, Lord Shiva came to Gokul to take darshan of baby Krishna. So this form of the Lord is very, very dear even to the Devatas. And he said, "O Arjun, this form of mine cannot be seen by any material qualification. No matter how much you study the Vedas, no matter how many austerities you perform, no matter how much dan you give, not by study, not by yajna, not by charity, only by my special grace can you actually see this form as it is." Why is Krishna saying, say this form as it is? Because Krishna has already described earlier in the Bhagavad Gita that Arjuna, my spiritual form, when I appear in this world, I come in my original spiritual form, but my original spiritual form is covered by my special Yoga Maya energy. So not everybody is able to actually see my spiritual form as it is. They are unable to perceive me as I actually am. But I am revealing my original form to you, this beautiful two-armed spiritual form, without any covering to you. And this is very, very, very difficult. Only through my very, very special grace to you, you are able to see. And do you know what is your qualification? And what is the qualification for anybody to see that form? The qualification is that you must have Ananya Bhakti for me. Only through Ananya Bhakti, Bhakti which is not mixed with anything, Bhakti which is not motivated by any other desire than serving me and pleasing me, which is known as pure devotional service, Ananya Bhakti. Only through such Bhakti can you see this form, can you understand this form, can you attain the association of this form by coming back to my spiritual abode. There is no other way to achieve my spiritual abode other than this. My mysteries are not understandable in any other way. All others who do not take this path but try to understand me are simply speculating, and that is why they reach faulty conclusions, like what I mentioned earlier in the 9th chapter and the 10th chapter. But only my devotees, I reveal to them my divine mysteries and my original form so that they can actually develop a very sweet, loving relationship with me. So, Arjuna, I have shown you the spiritual form, and mind you, even the Vishwarupa darshan that I gave to you, actually, what you saw, Arjun, nobody has ever seen that kind of form. It was my very special grace to you that I showed that form to you. And now that you are happy and peaceful seeing this two-armed form, please understand that the highest object of meditation should be this two-armed form, because that is what the yogis attain when they develop pure devotional service. So let me tell you summarily, Arjuna, that those devotees who are engaged in doing my work means following my instructions for my pleasure without any personal considerations, and who are free from all material contamination, Material contamination includes material attachment. Material contamination includes misunderstanding of Krishna and his glories. Such people who are totally free from all such impurities, and those who have become free as a consequence of that, free from any sense of animosity towards others, no envy, no animosity, considering all living entities as their friends. Such devotees, such yogis, they can attain to me without a doubt. So understand that this is the formula for that spiritual perfection. Okay, so that brings us to the end of the 11th chapter. Okay. So any questions?
Prabhuji, Chandra here.
Yes, Chandra.
One doubt that the Vishwarupa Darshan is Sanjaya is also saying that same thing, right?
Yes.
So I believe that Dhritarashtra also is understanding that what is now Supreme God. Still, they went for war. Means, is there any special reason that?
Hearing about God and taking shelter of God are two different things. How many people who know that God exists and that soul exists actually surrender to God or take seriously to spiritual life? This is what Krishna has been telling Arjuna throughout the Bhagavad Gita, that one needs to gradually cultivate detachment from material things and attachment to the Lord to be able to come to the point of surrender to the Lord. If one still has strong material attachments, even when Krishna came in front of Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra and others, he showed them a mini Vishwarupa, if you remember. He came to the court when he asked for peace. He showed them a small glimpse. It was not the same Vishwarup that Arjun saw. It was a small glimpse of his potency. Even after that, they did not agree to the Lord's proposition. So ultimately, the Lord actually says, Arjun actually asked this question to Lord Krishna. Was it in the 3rd chapter or the 4th chapter? The Lord says, Arjuna asks, what is it that actually forces living entities, in spite of knowing what is right, that they are forced to act in an inappropriate way? So they do bad even after knowing what is the right thing to do. And Krishna answers that question beautifully. He says, Kama esha, Kruda esha, Rajoguna samudbhava, Mahashana mahapapma viddenam, ihavairinam. The enemy is that strong attachment, which is also known as lust, and which later transforms into anger, which is the all-devouring enemy of the world. It is that lust which covers the pure consciousness. It will not allow the living entity to actually take shelter. Rather, it forces the living entity to always think of its own material self-interest. So attachment, he knew, but he was still attached. He was advised so many times. Same thing about Ravan, isn't it? He was advised so many times. Ram is the supreme personality of Godhead. Don't fight, you will be destroyed, your family will be destroyed, all the Rakshasas will be destroyed. No, because of his attachment, he was still hoping against hope that no, it will not be like this. So even Dhritarashtra, even though he could see so many signs, still hope against hope because of his attachment. And he was still thinking, maybe I may still get what I want. Yeah, do you get that?
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Yes.
Okay. Anything else?
Yes, Prabhuji, yesterday we were discussing and today too that Krishna is the creator of everything, including the anger and I assume lust too. So is it like Krishna tests us by giving us, the senses getting engaged in other activities which are not supposed to, I mean, to be in precise desire and lust. So Krishna can control that too, no? Or is it our task to control and put back our focus to Krishna?
What is actually bad quality? Actually, bad quality essentially is turning our face away from the Lord. Yes? Huh? So the Lord, He gives us the opportunity and the instruction to surrender to Him, but He also gives us the flexibility to go away from Him. So all these three qualities, Sattva, Raja, Tama, they are different degrees of forgetfulness of our real nature with God. And why God does that? God does that, He creates that because we want it, because we have desired it. It is not that God came and put lust into our hearts. Come. We want to forget Him. So Lord is facilitating the desire of the soul to be in this material world and enjoy matter. But at the same time, His instructions and His mercy is always available in such a way that we can turn to Him and then He will help us to come out from that situation. So what is darkness? Darkness is absence of light. Yes. So similarly, what is all these materialistic bad qualities? Ultimately, they are forgetfulness of our real nature. So think about this. This is a very subtle point. You need to contemplate on it a bit deeper to be able to understand it. But essentially, one cannot say because the Lord has created everything, He is the cause of the problem. It is not like that. Everything is there in this world, but everything has to be used for the right purpose. When it is used in the wrong way, the responsibility lies in the hands of the person who uses it in the wrong way. Just like a knife. A knife is neither good nor bad. It is created by the manufacturer, maybe to cut vegetables or for other kinds of cutting. But if somebody takes it and uses it for the wrong purpose of stabbing somebody with the knife, you cannot blame the manufacturer of the knife. Yeah. So similarly, the living entities are in this material world and they are supposed to deal with it with a proper understanding that everything belongs to the Lord. Ishavasyam idam sarvam. But if they don't, and if they abuse it, then you cannot blame the Lord. You cannot tell the Lord, oh Lord, you didn't stop me from doing this. Nowadays in India, such kind of arguments have become very common. I did wrong, but you didn't stop me from doing wrong. So it is your problem. Because you didn't stop me, you have the responsibility of the wrong that I did. But the whole arrangement of this material world is such that the Lord is giving the freedom to the jiva to choose. The Lord doesn't force the jiva. The Lord facilitates the jiva's choice either way. To either remember Him, also He will facilitate, or even to forget Him. The Lord says, okay, if you want to forget me also, I will give you the facility. But I'm always there for you whenever you want to turn to me and liberate yourself from this suffering. So we cannot blame the Lord for our condition. Even though the Lord creates everything, He creates to facilitate our journey. So think about this. This is a very subtle and profound point. Yeah, we cannot blame the Lord for our condition or the impurities that we have. We have acquired those impurities. Mm.
But I mean, you spoke about that we are in, it's all Maya, and those who are not in the Gita class are still in that Maya jal. So, and they don't know they're suffering.
Okay.
So there is no solution to it, is it? Or we are waiting for them to get a moment or get a event in life where
Well,
they will turn back to Krishna.
no, the Lord is always uh, has a plan. The material world always is a plan to try to help the souls who are lost. And what is that plan? The Lord, when He creates the material world, He gives the scriptures, He sends His saints, He sends His devotees, He comes and takes incarnations in the world again and again. Why? Dharma sansthapanarthaya, correct? To guide living entities, to attract them. Can anybody in this world say that he has never heard anything about God or he doesn't know anything? Practically nobody. But how many, when they get the opportunity, latch on to it? Yeah. Now, this invitation for Gita class, whether it's this class or there are so many classes by so many others, how many people, when they get the opportunity, they latch on to it and say, yes, I want to know what the Lord said. The Lord has given this knowledge for my liberation, but how eager are you to take it? See, at the end of the day, the Lord is not going to force anybody. Why? Because love is not a matter of force, nor is liberation a matter of force. It's a matter of choice. That is the nature of our existence, right? The Lord has created all of us with a free will, with a free desire. It is our choice what we want to do, and the Lord doesn't interfere with it. Like there is a saying in English that you can take a horse to the water, but you cannot make him drink. Yes? You understand that? You can take a horse to a lake or a river and you can bring him near the water, but he has to drink. Yeah. So the Lord has made so many facilities. How many people are interested in utilizing those facilities? So then what is the hope for those who are not? And that the hope for those who are not is those who are agents of the Lord in this world, because the agents of the Lord in this world, by the blessings of the Lord, are actually more kind than the Lord by His blessings. Why? Because they make all attempts to somehow or the other encourage those who have forgotten the Lord to remember Him. Sometimes they will somehow engage and connect those who are disconnected from the Lord, somehow connect them to the Lord. So through that small connection, the spark of faith, of devotion can be reignited in the heart. That is the role of those who are the devotees of the Lord. So, how do living entities who have forgotten become fortunate? They become fortunate because they come in contact with fire. Just like one matchstick, to catch fire, it has to come in contact with another matchstick which is already on fire, then it gets lit. So those who are carrying the devotion of the Lord in their heart, they are going around igniting devotion in the heart of others. And how do they ignite it? By sharing the glories of the Lord. And that is why in the 18th chapter, the Lord speaks about this in great detail, because He considers this as a service which is very dear to Him. To help others who have forgotten. Just like, in Hindi movies, this was a very common scene, that older Hindi movies, that the hero or the heroine suddenly gets amnesia, forgets who I am, what is going on. And then in the movie, there'll be a plot. How all those who are close to that person tries to repeatedly bring him into situations and circumstances which are related to his actual nature, his actual identity. And then by repeatedly coming into contact with those kind of situations, gradually his memory is revived. Yes? That is how they would show. So similarly, when the living entity, originally spiritual in nature, he has forgotten that he is a part and parcel of the Lord. But when he hears again and again, comes in contact with that divine knowledge again and again, The Lord says that the divine knowledge is so powerful it can burn away all ignorance. Then gradually he can be re-established in his original identity. Okay?
Okay, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, 1 minute. Before that, I see one hand raised. Shraddha Sawantji. Do you have a question on your side? Okay, I'm not getting a response. So, okay, fine. Santanamji, because I saw a hand raised, I can hear. Yeah,
Yes.
Santanamji. Yes, go ahead.
So God has given a free will to us,
Yeah.
and I studied somewhere blade of grass, or it cannot move on its own without Bhagavan's permission. Like that also we studied. So both are like looking contradictory. One is saying we have a free will, and another one is saying without God's consent we cannot do anything. So
Consent and will are two different things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Consent and will. So will is enforced. The Lord can control everything, but nothing can happen without his sanction. Sanction not in the sense that the Lord wants it, but the whole arrangement in the material world works under his direction. So by his own will, he has created the facility to allow the living entities to act in either way, either in a way which is conducive for the spiritual evolution, or in a way which is taking them away or increasing their forgetfulness. So that facility is given by the Lord. So that sanction is there. It is not that the Lord wants us to forget him, but the Lord allows based on our desire. Can he stop it? Yes, he can, but he doesn't, because he has given the free will to us. So these two concepts are not contradicting each other.
Thank you,
Is it
Prabhu.
clear? Yeah.
Yes,
So the active will of the Lord and the passive allowance of the Lord are two different things. If the Lord has an active will that I want this to happen, then nothing can stop it. Like he told Arjuna that based on this situation, I want that all the Kauravas, I've already decided all these Kauravas are going to be destroyed. Even if you decide you don't want to kill them, I have already decided they are going to die. So might as well you just become my instrument. Nimitta matra bhava sabve sachi. You become the nimitta, and you help me to execute my purpose. In that way you will get glory. But if somebody wants to forget the Lord facilitates that as well based on the desire of that living entity. See, the Lord has already said in the 7th chapter that even if a living entity, even if they want to worship a devata, what did the Lord say? When they worship a devata, I give them the faith to worship the devata, because unless I give them the faith to worship a devata, they cannot worship. And even the benediction that the devata gives, ultimately I am only giving. So the Lord is the facilitator, but we are responsible for the desire, and we have to deal with the consequences of those desires. Okay? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Correct.
Thank you. Okay, if nothing else, then we will end the session. Okay, well, just very quickly, just 2 more minutes. So maybe some of you may be a bit, you may have been hearing the news about Zoom and certain security concerns with respect to Zoom. I don't know how many of you have been hearing. So just want to spend 2 minutes on this point, so there is not an unnecessary worry. So basically, 2 things. But I'm not going to go into technicalities. But the key point was that some of the conferences there was like some passing through China, concerns that because certain data, some other countries may be listening to the conversations that are going on in conferences. So let's say Google is having a meeting, or some other companies are having a meeting, they can listen to it and things like that. Worried about. Of course, for us, that concern is not there. If China wants to hear Bhagavad Gita chapter overview, we will happily invite them. We have no problem. So that is not our concern. But anyway, it is said that today itself, Zoom has done an update to their application so that we can do a setting so that the data doesn't go through China. So I will do that setting on my application also. The other thing is also there are some vulnerabilities in terms of who can join a meeting, how they can join, and a few things like that. So there are already certain settings which can be done to make sure that that part can be more secure. Again, all these concerns are more relevant when you have a private secret conversation where you want to make sure nobody is, so to say, gate crashing into a meeting which is supposed to be private. Yeah. But based on all that I understand so far, there shouldn't be, for our purpose, any concern with respect to the use of this application. If you think otherwise, you can let me know in private. And also Zoom has said that today itself they are releasing some updates to take care of some of those things. So I'm keeping a watch out on that as well. So no need to be overly concerned about that at this point. If there is a reason to be more worried, then I'll let you know. But we have no problem. We want the whole world to come and listen to Bhagavad Gita. So we have no issues with this. Okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Thank you. So we will end the call, the discussion. Thank you. Hare Krishna.